Hey, we got a hostage situation in Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings. They're holding Kyler Murray hostage. Let me explain why, and I'm going to tell you something. He ain't competing. There is no competition. Look, you don't bring in a Pro Bowler, a Pro Bowl quarterback, and let him compete with a kid that had an up and down season, his rookie year, basically. That's ridiculous. It drives me nuts, this competition thing. Stick around. I'll give you the facts, the wisdom. I've been there, done that. Let's go. I got the wisdom. I've been watching the Vikings since 1902. The Joe Kapp days, the Fran Tarkenton days, Tommy Kramer, Culpepper. It goes on and on. So let's take a look at the quarterbacks that I saw back in the day. There he is, Joe Kapp. What an animal he was, boy, I'll tell you. I saw that man play. Took us to our first Super Bowl, 1969, against the Kansas City Chiefs. And this guy never got injured. Very rarely, except in the Super Bowl. He got his shoulder separated. But look at this. This is awesome. He'd throw these dying ducks. Look at that. He'd whip it out like that. He was great, but he was a winner. And then he runs into this Cleveland linebacker, Cleveland Browns. That was so funny. He just knocked his butt out. And Joe got right up. He was an animal, boy. He'd whip it. He was a winner. He actually came up with the phrase 40 for 60. I believe it was him. What that meant was at the time they could have 40 men on the roster and 40 for 60 minutes. So it was a big deal. It was an exciting year. Nobody thought we'd lose to Kansas City, but they did their little razzle and dazzle. And the funny thing is, when Kansas City played us the very next year, we killed them. We just killed them because we were ready for all their. Joe Kapp went to the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl. He was actually one of the first guys who went for free agency, and the Vikings wouldn't re-sign him, and we ended up going with Gary Quazell. Clumsy and fearless and a winner. You know, who cares how they throw the ball? So that's why I say with McCarthy, it's not the end of the world. He's just not ready now. There you go, Joe Kapp. What an animal. What a leader. It was great. I enjoyed Joe Kapp. So why is my series called Listen for the Pucker? Because I want you to pull your head out of your hoo-hoo. All right? For all you fans that think this is a real competition, there's no way. J.J. McCarthy last year played most of the season, and when he didn't, he was injured, and then poor Carson got nailed and got injured. But here's the deal. Yes, he had some good games, but he had some really bad games. Ladies and gentlemen, that's called inconsistency. And here's two things Kyler has over him. No, maybe three, maybe four. Experience, no doubt about it. He can scramble. Oh boy, can he scramble. Over 3,000 rushing yards since 2019. So let's watch a little Kyler here. All right, moving around. There he goes. There's the scrambling. You'll see where I compare him to Fran Tarkenton. That's a Fran Tarkenton type of play. That's awesome. That was a good play. He's worked with some really good players. This guy knows his stuff. He's come in here to take over the Vikings, and we need it. The only competition I see is between J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz. Who's going to be number two? All right? Listen, there is no rookie quarterback that can come in and just take over a team like that. There's been a few situations, and later on in this video, I talk about it. But listen, he's up, down, he's all over the place. That's typical for a kid coming out of college, all right? I know, technically, he's no longer a rookie quarterback. But he's not going to come in and take the job from Kyler. There's just no way. And here's why. Kevin O'Connell is a smart guy. KOC, he's no dummy. Now, why is he playing it like this? I have no idea. I don't know where he's going with this. Maybe just to give Kyler more time to study his playbook. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, does he honestly think JJ's going to come in and take this job? Just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why he's spinning it this way. It actually frustrates me. To me, it's silly. Kyler should be getting as many reps as he can. But again, the only thing I can guess, maybe he wants them to study the playbook. But there's a real pucker factor here, okay? Listen for the pucker, KOC. We need to be established right now with the number one quarterback that we're going to have. And I hope he jumps on this sooner than later in the actual training camp. All right, let me build an argument for Kyler. Are you ready? Let me look at my notes here. He's a proven commodity, no doubt about it. Yeah, I'm sure at one time he was very cocky. What young athlete that goes into professional sports isn't going to be cocky and confident, all right? But now he's at a different level. He's a little older. He's got close to 90 games under him, starting 87 games to be exact. And this guy's confident. He doesn't have to be cocky now. He knows what's going on. He's 28 years old. He's 5'10", 207 pounds. And let me tell you, the kid was 42-0 in college. Unbelievable. And I know you could argue that, hey, it's the schools he was playing and all this stuff. Forget about it. I'm talking about this kid as a natural born winner, all right? He was drafted in the first round by Major League Baseball. This guy's a good athlete. And he can scramble like the great Fran Tarkenton. All right, here we go. Fran Tarkenton. This is so funny to watch him play. You're going to see him scramble. In the beginning, he's just making plays happen. And he did good. We really didn't have a good team back. This was the expansion year and the year following, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but it was the early years of the Vikings. And we will definitely, you'll see the comparison. It's funny. A lot of quarterbacks get out there, move around, make things happen. But Kyler's got that Fran Tarkenton scrambling mode in him that other quarterbacks do not have. He would make things happen. Now here's the scrambling. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I see in Kyler. He just goes around in circles. Kyler does the same thing. I've seen enough highlights. It's fantastic. Fran's talking about, they're going to bloody him. That's the term he used. They're going to kill him. He had to learn to scramble. He had to learn to make things happen. It's awesome. He always felt bad because he took him to 3 Super Bowls and they didn't win one. And he said to this day, it bothers the heck out of him. Look at the time he gave himself just from the scrambling. Listen to this now.
Yeah, we run anywhere.
Mr. Deacon Jones, and
he's one man that we tried desperately to end his career. We tried, and I must say that in this day and age, we tried desperately to get rid of him. Because on a hot day in the Coliseum, chasing Fran Tarkenton is not what you wanted to do.
I always hated Tarkenton. I really did. I mean, that little wimp would run around out there for hours and hours and hours, and we had to chase him.
He made plays out of mush, all right? Kyler's going to do the same thing. So this year, if our offensive line gets injured again, we got a secret weapon. It's called Kyler Murray, okay? He was the number 1 draft pick, number 1 overall for the Cardinals in 2019. He's got 20,460 yards passing. Wow. 121 touchdowns and 60 interceptions. Not bad. His completion rate is right up where it should be, 67%. Some say 70's better. Of course it is, but he's up there. 3,193 yards rushing and 32 touchdowns rushing. This is a real weapon we really need with the Vikings. He's one of 3 quarterbacks since 2019. He has over 20,000 yards passing, 3,000 yards rushing. The other 2 are Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Let me tell you, that's a good tier to be up on. That's not, you don't get to that level by getting lucky. Okay, this kid has got talent. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, 2020 and 2021. He tore his ACL in 2022. He's fully recovered, okay? And then right now, he's with Minnesota, of course, $1.3 million. All that other guaranteed money from Arizona, they're on the hook, not the Vikings. So I think it's another $30 million he's making. So he's not hurting for money. But I know that he wants to take on this year and make it a career year so he can get that big contract next year as a free agent. And I want the Vikings on the hunt with this. Now, people, what I've read, the research I've done, they said they're going to have to really move the numbers around, the cap, so on and so forth. But we got a great guy who does that, who didn't get the GM job. But that guy, he's the best with numbers. I'm not worried about it. If Kyler comes through with a big year, we need to get him back. Don't make the mistake we made with Sam Darnold. All right, let's go to J.J. McCarthy. All right, the kid's still trying to find it. He's inconsistent. Yeah, he looks good in minicamp. Big deal. All right, come on. I want to see him. You know, the way they play in the preseason, sure, it's faster than college, but it's still not as fast, as quick, as rugged, as physical as it is in the regular season. And JJ found that out. And remember Max Brosmer? He's still around, right? He's still in the quarterback room, but he found out big time too. So look, you're not going to take that chance and go with JJ. Now, who's going to be number 2? That's the real competition. JJ versus Carson Wentz. That'll be interesting to see how that comes about. JJ's 23 years old. He's 6'3" and he weighs 219 pounds. He was 27-1 as a starter in college, 2023 national champion, and he was the 10th overall pick. Now, my understanding is that was a Kwesi thing. He really wanted him bad. So, whatever. I don't care because they drafted him. That's the bottom line. The real first year he was on the field, because in his very first rookie year, he tore a meniscus and he was out the whole year. So last year was his first real year. He had 10 starts, 6-4. He passed for 1,632 yards, 11 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, completion rate 57.6%. That's not that good. And the quarterback rating. I am not an analytical, by the numbers kind of fan. To me, I'm a bottom line guy. Are you winning? A great example was the Vikings in '69 when they had Joe Kapp. He wasn't putting up big numbers. Joe Kapp just knew how to win, and Bud Grant back at the time knew that. You got to have a winner at the quarterback position. And Kyler knows how to win in professional NFL football. All right, we got Carson Wentz. This is great. He got $3 million, I guess, guaranteed. He started 5 games in 2025. He's a pure backup insurance, okay? Is he not in the conversation? I say he is. I say he's fighting for number 2. Or maybe he is number 2. And this whole competition thing with JJ and Murray, just a sideshow. All right, what's your take on this 50-50 with the reps? Is it a competition? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a self-inflicted bottleneck. I think it's a bad move by KOC. I really hope to find out what his method behind the madness of this is. So maybe because Kyler is learning a new playbook, and, I think there was 2 different playbooks, or was there one in Arizona? You guys tell me in the comments. But let's face it, KOC's playbook is quite imaginative and different and extensive. So Kyler's got to do some studying. I mean, if you think about it, JJ's getting squeezed from both sides. Is he going to be number 1? No. Try again. Is he going to be number 3? Very possible. Very possible. Now, I guess publicly, KOC did push back. And let me read the quote to you. We weren't in pads. There wasn't a lot of hitting or contact. And he said they want to see these guys in live competition in pads under contact. Okay. It's reasonable. I get it. But, come on. This is just silly. The sooner they get Kyler with most of the reps, the number one reps, the better off we are as fans. I truly believe that. Now, let me show you some clips here of different things that Kyler's doing and what JJ's doing, in case you haven't seen some of this stuff. All right, so here's the good stuff with Kyler. I like it. He makes things happen. Watch this next play. He floats it just perfectly on a screen. Throwing a screen. I mean, you got to have experience and a touch for this. Look at this. Just floats it right in there nice. I know, they all can do that, but so can Kyler, okay? I think we got potential for a championship here. Look at this. Oh, yeah, I'm a homer. You bet. Now, I've heard that a lot of pushback on this competition thing is this is Kwesi's guy. Kwesi wanted J.J. McCarthy. He's no longer in the building. We don't have to put up with this nonsense. But look, they got him in there, so let the kid practice. Let's see what he's got. Can he be a viable number 2, or is he going to be number 3 and he's got to learn behind 2 veterans? That's my vote. He's number 3. Let him learn. All the great quarterbacks had to sit and learn, okay? Yes, there was a few number 1 draft choices or in the first round that actually played and did pretty good. But listen, this is not a rebuilding team. We don't have time to watch him grow and make mistakes. Let's go with a guy who is a bona fide starter. He's a bona fide winner. And he's going to take us to the promised land. And you're thinking, Bugsy, you're so full of beans, it's not even funny. To the Super Bowl? You never know. We got some talent on this team. And it's timing. You know what it is? It's timing. It's just like I talked about the Minnesota Wild, and I talk about anything in pro sports. When they go in the playoffs, they have to be peaking. They have to be healthy. And they have to have a cohesiveness in that locker room. That's unbelievable. That's how you go to the promised land and win the big one. Let me address this crap about they're going to trade JJ. I don't think so. I really don't. Now, would they do it next year, after this year? That, to me, is a stronger possibility. But not this year, okay? They're going to keep him around. They want to see how he does as a backup, whether it be number 2 or number 3. They invested some time in him, and they want to see what he does. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Max Brosmer, because Max looked pretty good in last year's preseason. But then when they put him in a live game, oh my goodness. Again, preseason versus regular season. In the regular season, it's faster, it's quicker, it's tougher, it's more physical. It's the real thing, man. Physical. Say it, Bugsy. All right? That's what these young guys find out when they get in the NFL. Let's go through some of the gossip. I'll read it to you. Well, they turned it into gossip. The first week of minicamp, I think there was the non-mandatory. He said it's just like 2 guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. He's a young guy. He's got to protect his interest. What's a big deal? Of course. The sports writers jump on it. This is going to be contentious. No, that's just a kid protecting his own self-interest. Hello. Human nature, psychology, whatever. So then they talk to Murray. And Murray says, he said that McCarthy was overly receptive to his input. We're both competitors. He's always communicating, asking questions. Let's face it, Murray's talking like he's already got the gig. He's already got the job. He knows. That's not arrogance. That's 87 games of being a starter. That's a guy who knows what it's like to win big games. Has a lot of experience. This is not a competition, people. That's just all the hype. And when Murray says, my confidence is unshakable regardless of what happens day to day, that's confidence. That's not cocky. Cocky is when you come to the NFL and I'm 9. My 9 took over. He's being a little cocky. He's being whatever. I didn't really look at that as a bad thing. A lot of people jumped on it when he started doing poorly. The kid's just trying to survive in the big jungle, okay, where the gorillas are bigger. All the animals are faster, quicker, tougher. They'll eat you up, JJ. They will eat you alive, and they did in a few games last year. You're not ready to start yet there, bubby. Not yet. Here's the real pucker factor, okay? Listen for the pucker, people. Pull your head out of your badooski and realize the facts here, all right? When that kid played, I'm talking about JJ now, and he was under tremendous pressure in the NFL in a lot of these games. He didn't handle it well. And yeah, he's got Brian Flores in training camp, and it's great. It's not quite the same. And we all know that. When Kyler gets in there and starts scrambling and starts making things happen, all of you are going to think about this video and go, Bugsy was right. That's right. Believe you me, Justin Jefferson ain't going to wait around for this. He wants to get the big scores again. He wants the big yards again. And he's not going to get it from J.J. McCarthy. The only shot he's got at that now is with Kyler. So let's talk about the rookies that really need time. There are some exceptions. Tom Brady. In 2000, he was a rookie. He hardly played at all. Then he took over in 2001 and actually took the team to the Super Bowl. But that was a very talented New England team. But okay, I give on that one. But let's go down the list. Peyton Manning started all 16 games as a rookie back then. He threw 28 interceptions and 26 touchdowns. Took years for him to become the great Peyton Manning. Eli Manning. I wanted to look into that, okay, because this was another one that was rated high coming out of college. He was rough, inconsistent rookie year. But he ended up winning 2 Super Bowls. But nobody remembers his rookie tape because he had a rough rookie year. John Elway. Oh, I want to talk about somebody who had rough beginnings. His first year, 7 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He's a Hall of Famer, multiple Super Bowls, and of course, eventually he won. So most of these guys just don't, Brett Favre is another one. He had troubles in the beginning. Now, this is interesting. I kind of compare Kyler to Brett because they're both gunslingers. Watching Kyler and his past tape, he's not afraid. And I like that in a quarterback. Fran Tarkenton would do that. Joe Kapp would do that. And I just think that's a great attribute to get in there, not be scared of anything, and throw it. Throw it. Shoestring it right in there. Now, there were some rare exceptions. Cam Newton, his rookie year, holy cow, 4,051 yards, 21 touchdowns. RG3, 2012. Oh, by the way, Cam Newton won Rookie of the Year that year. RG3, 2012, he had 102.4 passer rating. He threw for 3,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, plus 815 rushing yards. Rookie of the Year and a division title. Justin Herbert. In 2020, he threw for 4,336 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Rookie records, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now look, did McCarthy, did JJ come close to that? Of course not, because he's not ready, okay? He's your typical, I'm not going to even say great college quarterback, but very good college quarterback that has to adjust to the NFL. And I'm telling you, they throw him back in this year, forget about it. Don't even watch. It's not even going to be worth watching. I don't, even if he gets hurt, if Kyler gets hurt, I don't want to see JJ in there. I want to see Carson back in there. Give us a chance until Kyler heals up and comes back to start. And that's if Kyler gets hurt. Look, you don't buy a high-priced sports car like Kyler and put him on the bench. You don't do that, even though you got a discounted rate on him. Okay, you got a great deal. You talk the salesman down. Not really. It's because the other guy that had Kyler is paying his $30 gazillion, all right? But still, you don't put the kid on the bench. Give me a break, will you? You don't put him on the bench just to see if your third-year draft pick can make it happen this year. Let's see if we can get lucky. Can we get lucky? That's crazy. So let me tell you these numbers. Again, I'm not into all these analytics, but I want to show a little credibility of what I'm talking about. I'm more of a bottom line guy, and I lean more towards that. Watching Kyler on tape. Yes, I've watched the tape too where he screwed up, but I'll take my chances. We're playing with Vikings house money here. Let's do it the right way. McCarthy, let's see, $2.78 million. He's got a $5.96 million cap hit on the rookie deal, and Wentz is making $3 million. Okay, so and Murray, as we know, is getting 1.3. So we got to work the numbers if we're going to sign him next year. But let's worry about this year and play him. If this competition for some reason is real in KOC's mind, God forbid, if it is, oh my goodness, we don't want that to happen. Do not put JJ in there. Don't sacrifice another year with all this talent we have on this team. So let's talk about that. Let's say Murray kicks butt, right? Murray's going to be an unrestricted free agent in 2027. No tag. They're not going to let him. They already got it in the deal. The Vikings can't put a tag on him and hold him around. All right, realistic market that he can ask for 30 if he has a great year, 30 million to 45 million. Now, the Vikings project that their cap space will be 46 million in 2027. If they work the numbers, they can absolutely keep him. So grabbing Kyler Murray actually was a great move. Low risk, high return. Okay, if you're looking at the money part of it, that's good business. That's good business, and combination of the situation that's coming together. If this guy takes off and has a great year, we got a great quarterback for the next 5 years, all right? That's what I'm looking at. Bottom line, baby. I want a shot at the Super Bowl over the next 5 years. Not just, let's take a shot with JJ again, see what happens. No, we're not doing that. End of story. Full stop. Quarterback number 1 is Kyler Murray. No doubt about it. KOC, let's get over this competition thing and move on. The sooner we get Kyler in there taking more number 1 snaps than anybody else in the camp, as it should be, the better off we are to have a good start in this year. Okay? Minnesota Viking fans, we want to win. And don't tell me you're going to put JJ in there. Rookies don't do it well. I know he's in his 3rd year. Technically, he's still a 1-year plus rookie, okay, who had a horrible year last year. I don't care what anybody says. They won 9 games with this kid, and Carson was part of that. How many games could we have won if Kyler Murray was here last year? Even with that bad offensive line, and I'm talking about because they had so many injuries. We would have won at least 2 more games and been in the playoffs and made it interesting. Let's face it, when you get into playoffs, your defensive line and your offensive line hopefully are healthy and they're peaking. Really, you're in the trenches in the playoffs. You've got to have those lines clicking. And if they're off at all, you need a quarterback that can make things happen. Kyler Murray's the guy, all right? So listen, if you got this far, subscribe, will you? Give me a like. Do all that stuff everybody asks for. I didn't hit you up in the middle of the video, so do it now. Hopefully you like the way I present things. I don't mess around. Forget about it. Capiche? Come on. Let's go. Listen for the pucker. Pull your head out of your Padooski and let's all rip and roar for Kyler Murray. All right? You got me? See ya! Hee hee.